Well, as we see restrictions coming in as far as COVID-19 goes across states, a trend that we've learned from 2020, it becomes a busy time for the logistics sector. And you see that happening all the time. And joining us to talk more about that is Ravi Jakhar, the Chief Strategy Officer at Allcargo Logistics. Thank you so much for joining us here. We're talking at a time when folks like you, companies like yours, would have far more business for very obvious reasons, but it's also at a time when freight rates are going up globally as well as domestically. So first up, if you can set the stage for us, as far as the current wave of the Omicron virus goes, what has it meant for your business? Have you been able to keep up with the rise in orders?
Yeah, so I think what Omicron wave has led is it has caused further disruptions across the globe. And that means that there have been some, temporary port operation suspensions, some additional restrictions on the movement of cargo. And whenever any disruptions happen, any restrictions come into play, naturally the inventory utilization becomes challenging. Your, ships are stuck at ports, your containers are stuck in the hinterland for a longer period of time. And that leads to a high pressure situation from a supply chain optimization perspective, which means that one, logistics companies continue to put in extra efforts to manage the operations. And secondly, the shortage of inventory also leads to a spike in freight rates, which we have noticed over the last several months. So we anticipate that, on the back of some new capacities coming in towards the end of 2022, early 23, there could be some relief in terms of the availability side, supply side on the supply chain internationally in the ocean freight. But in the interim, the Omicron wave has meant that there would be more disruptions, more closures, more preventive. Even if it's not going to be that damaging, the preventive closures also lead to inventory being stuck up. And therefore, we could see some supply chain constraints continuing for the next couple of months as far as the international business is concerned. On the domestic side, I think the government has done well, and we have also learned our ways of how to navigate through the crisis. Be it, the container freight stations, which we have operated without any stoppage, or the express logistics operations. We don't see significant disruptions on the domestic side because logistics as an essential services has been permitted to operate, and we have been able to navigate. But yes, on the international side, the shortage of inventory and supply has caused more concerns.
And when this disruption is taking place, it's also taking place at a time when trucking rates, freight rates are going up. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, so I think for us, our responsibility is twofold. One, we have to ensure that the cargo continues to be delivered in time. So therefore, we try to find alternative ways. Like when there's a congestion in a particular port, we have launched services to a smaller port on dedicated multimodal operations between Asia and Americas, for an example, through a new product that we launched in which is called Accelerate. So we try to find innovative products which can continue to take care of the time requirements. And on the cost side, we try to see how we can use our scale of operations to optimize the freight sourcing and therefore keep the costs affordable for the customers. But naturally, in a situation like this, controlling the freight rates is beyond us to that extent. And therefore, our focus is more on ensuring that despite disruptions, we can ensure timely deliveries. And on same is on the case on the domestic business as well, when we are focused on delivering in full on time, consistently, and navigating through the various restrictions that have been announced across various states.
Can you quantify for us when you say that it's a challenge in this kind of an environment? So let's say in December, before the disruption hit us, what was your daily, freight movement? How much had that come down? And which are the ports where the congestion is high? And when do you see it normalizing? I'm asking you a lot of questions because it's something which you can paint for us, the scenario.
Yeah, so let me try to give you some numbers. The port of Los Angeles, for an example, still over the last week had close to 7,200 ships lined outside, which is an indicator of congestion there. There have been some...
About the importance of some of these mid-tier banks, which in a sense have seen more like a perception derating not an absolute derating. So that becomes an important part. So you got RBL right up there, 2.5% higher. Reliance has exhibited strength for 2 days on the trot now. The move in Reliance has been about 100 rupees approximately in just 2-3 trading sessions. Let's look at Reliance in last 5 days. It was a late bloomer. It did not participate, but now you got the good old Reliance, which is also making a comeback. So that in a sense is also important from a market standpoint for us to point out. So that also becomes crucial. Okay, we lost you there. Would you like to carry on with your thoughts?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. We're talking about congestion. This is video congestion, network congestion we are dealing with. You're dealing with port congestion, while today we are dealing with video congestion. Okay, carry on, sir.
No problem at all. So I was saying that the port congestion situation in India has been controlled very well, but you have situations in US like LA port where you have a lot of congestion. You have temporary port closures in China, which has led to the capacity reduction to the order of maybe 4 to 5%, which has perhaps pushed the situation back by 2 months. Whatever advances were made with some situation improvements between October to December have been pushed back to October. On the domestic side, we see again a similar 4 to 5% impact on the container volumes. But on the domestic side, we do not see any significant challenges in terms of the network. And I think that is where the Indian logistics players as well as the government has come together well to navigate through the challenges. And therefore, I don't think that we are in a situation where we are facing any significant disruptions in terms of being ability to manage cargo transport in the country.
And how do you see the situation improving? Because in the near term, nobody has very strong evidence or any understanding as to where the virus wave is moving. So can I say that the current quarter, which is the January, February, March quarter, the current quarter from a global supply disruption standpoint could be equally bad, and it will get bad before it gets better? So bad will become worse before it gets better, or bad will now become better?
So our sense is that, we do not see the situation worsening because all the reports across, be it in terms of the impact on staff, etc., is that the cases are mild, which means that the disruptions are more temporary in nature. We've also seen that restrictions have been not very long lasting. So we do not see the situation getting worse in that sense. We believe that situation should only continue to improve. I mean, close home, if you look at how the cases have come down dramatically in the last few days in Mumbai, and a similar trend happened in South Africa of a sudden decline, it appears that the waves are moderate and short-lived as compared to the previous Delta wave. So therefore, our personal sense, I would personally say that the disruptions should not be very long-lived, but we'll have to see how the situation unfolds. But as far as the Indian logistics industry is concerned, I'm very happy to state that we have dealt very well with the congestions, and not just about one company, but everyone, including the government operators on the port side, facilitating everything. So I think we have not really seen the kind of congestions, be it on the port side or on the domestic network, what we have seen on the highways of China or on the ports of US.
Okay, Ravi, good speaking with you, and take care. We'll speak again soon.
Yeah, sure. Pleasure talking to you.
Okay, that's the word coming in from the Allcargo management. We're going to take a very quick break with news that we're still holding on to our gains, 99 points higher still. Although we got pretty close to that 18,200 print, eased off just a little bit from there. That's okay. We're still going strong today, much unlike yesterday's quiet consolidation. We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, the three big IT earnings slated today, we'll analyze and discuss what to expect from them this evening.